Welcome to the grim, lawless 23rd century, following the fall of U.S. Gov and mass depopulation of major cities at the hands of the multi-trillionaire de Huberton family. Baptized in radioactive hellfire, a rare mutation makes Turbo a fiercely pumped scrapper, haunted by specters from her past, surviving the post-apocalyptic wasteland one deathmatch pit fight at a time. But when she rescues the stunning trophy girl, the unlikely duo are thrust into a harrowing odyssey, evading marauding berserkers at every turn on their way to the ultimate showdown as they uncover the horrific truth behind the fall of humanity. Jacobs, writer and penciler, and Kurt Brugel, co-writer and inker, are thrilled to announce the release of the first Turbo teaser, a significant milestone in the indie comic book industry. Jake and Kurt are the first and only duo to create a comic book live on air in a split-screen podcast. But that's not all. Recognizing the challenges and triumphs of indie comic creators, Kurt and Jake have another recurring segment of their podcast spotlighting other indie comic creators who share their stories, discuss their creative process, offer insights into audience building, and ponder the future of comics.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Making Turbo Pitfighter. I'm Jake Jacobs. I'm here with my pal Kurt Brugel, and we're here on another Sunday. We're finishing out the calendar year for 2023, and we just spoke about a couple of the highlights on one of our little promo interstitials. But we got some stuff on the rundown today, Kurt. Why don't we just jump right in?
Oh, yes.
Because we're looking at a couple of pinups. I got a little stack here, a little whole stack, couple of notes. So what's first on the rundown for you?
So we have, I literally have a bit of a shake going on right now in excitement, Jake, because we are now working on completing the second Turbo teaser. If you're new to the channel, we already put out a Turbo teaser number one, which is the first 6 pages of our Turbo Pitfighter comic. Jake obviously is doing the writing and the pencils. I'm obviously doing the inking and chief bottle washer.
Right.
But I think from the moment we first started talking about getting something out there to help keep us motivated, our community motivated, and working forward, man, we put this out 3 or 4 months ago. And already we're on the next 6 pages. You've got a sweet cover that's penciled. I have to start inking that next episode. This is an old, original drawing of, a concept for Turbo. And then you even threw in, a couple of little sketchy stuff, concept character drawings. But what I wanted to do in this episode, Jake, I know I sent you the last 6 pages that I just completed on Friday or Saturday, actually, yesterday. So I wanted to just go through this format because I had mentioned last episode, why not just print out single sheets and kind of look at how we would arrange them and stuff. I just took it a step forward and did a rough print. As you can see, this is a little off-centered and stuff. But I just wanted to have something to be able to show off in how the flow possibly will be with Turbo Pitfighter's second teaser.
Yeah, you sent me you definitely sent me the finished inks, or I guess these are mostly finished.
This is page. Yeah, these will be finished for me. We still would have to do an episode where you would give me some of your edits, which is only fair. Yeah. They maintain the vision that you had with the pencils. But yeah. I am super happy with my inks. I did a lot of air spray paint. I've been really hammering out. I have a black one, a white one, and a gray one. that I've been messing
Yeah.
around with. So, but
Yeah,
other than that,
yeah, we got. I printed these out. I'm getting my first look at the inks. You know, you
right.
definitely took into account like you know, about gray tones. You have a lot more like black, white, and gray. You know, like
Yep.
all these dynamic values all over. So that's good. I printed this out. This was the back cover of the first teaser, and we kind of cut some of this stuff out, and we kind of
Yep.
simplified it.
Yep.
So I'm gonna be taking like some stuff from here, throwing it in. Um, I also have quite a bit of prose now, and I sent you a copy because Kurt gave me
Yes, I
this
saw
great.
that.
Kurt gave me this great advice. Jake, make a Substack and do like regular installments that you drop, and just write what's coming out, the backstory. So I did the first installment, and it's going to be like a backstory of the timeline, and we have some pros there, and it all ties in, to the Turbo world, depending on the year, and that should be exciting. So we definitely got stuff we can fill this up with. I'm gonna
Yes.
probably turn these into zine pages, maybe make that graphic of the character Mr. Ike a little smaller, and pepper the page with all kinds of stuff about the technology, and I have a WordPress here. It's like tons and tons of entries about different years, so we can definitely like pepper this thing up, make like a little mini zine in the back. And what are you thinking for the back cover? Just same idea as last time?
Yes. Now, I want to inject, and this is going to be kind of a real bonus. So, we've got the QR codes, and I really want to push using these QR codes. This is the same one for this, and this goes to our YouTube channel. So if somebody was to take their phone and hit that, they'll be right there on their YouTube channel. They'll be on our YouTube channel on their phone. But to answer your question, in two parts. The first part would be integration of QR codes, and I'll flip back here just to make a mention on some ideas. But here, I think this would be, I just get this vision of, I will just ink without any embellishment and a clean white background. So if you were to put in, like, let's say something written wise that would even carry through, this would get transposed on top of it and would even kind of block it to kind of maybe make some teasers. It could be, I'm just thinking this off the cuff, it could be a really nice scan of page 13. And we could make some kind of note about, get ready for a turbo teaser number 3. But I think this one should really have the focus it has right now with these two elements, but something that has a leaping off point in the movement of teaser.
Yeah, well, last time I thought it worked out pretty good. I mean, I tried it this way, and then I ended up fixing it. I took your inks and I made it a little bit smaller, but I made everything fit in. I made the text pack in around the artwork,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I squeezed in a lot of crap. So I could definitely do that again when you're done with the inks. Kick it back over
Right.
to me, and I'll put it in core.
Cool.
So that's cool for the back cover. You pick one of those artworks. I had a different one for the back cover I was working on too, right? Remember the one where she's
There's
lifting
a.
up the car?
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Ooh, that
Yeah,
might be. That might actually. Do you have a? Did you send me a
yeah,
copy of that? I don't think you did.
no,
Send me
I
a
don't think
copy of
it's
that. Send me a copy of that, and I will put it up on the screen.
well, it's
And
not too
if
far.
you in the community, if any of you in the community feel so inclined, this is going to be This will be A, and then the other one will be B. And tell us which one you think would make a great back cover. But yeah, you still how those pencils are how far along? Like you're about
Right
just
here.
starting in? Yeah, yeah.
That's what we got. We got blue line, and I was gonna do a little Doom Magazine's logo here, and then the
Okay.
title Turbo Pitfighter, but I thought this was gonna be the front cover. So if this is the back cover, we'll just kind of leave this burning band here, and then we could put all the text in these little spaces here, and here, like little text bits here, but a little more descriptive text here.
Right.
And then put the Doom Magazine's logo in there, in one little spot. So this could be pretty hot. You want me to work on this right now?
Please. I mean, it's going to get used eventually. I mean, maybe it's the cover of teaser number 3 or the back matter for teaser number 3.
All right, I'll prioritize this. So
thank you.
I'm just gonna leave this whole spot open, but this has like some backgrounds already integrated in that we're gonna preserve. So next item I'll bring up is you killed me with that trailer, man. You sent me the trailer. You really sent me sideways on that. Folks, if you don't know, what time this is shortly after the release of Furioso trailer came out, and I'm still reeling from it a week later. This is the next installment in the Mad Max movies, which we talk about constantly, I guess. I mean, I think we were just recently talking about it. But, Kurt, this trailer is a work of art. It is so B-movie.
That's a bit over the top to say about a movie trailer. Why do you say it's a work of art?
They did this before. It's like the trailer is more exploitation, kind of like old style movie, than the actual movie.
Yeah.
And this one really does camp it up. I love it. I love the trailer for this one. This is going to be a prequel to Fury Road, which was the 4th Road Warrior movie, and this is going to be the young version of Furiosa, who was played by and how she loses her arm, which is played by Charlize Theron, right? In the last movie. So they're really developing the story. Can't wait. So there was that, and then when all these trailers are coming out, you saw this other great trailer. Why don't you talk about that?
Oh no, I didn't see a trailer. I actually watched a really great post-apocalyptic movie. Let's say low end budget but high end actors. It's called The Rover, Australian flick with Guy Pearce, and then Robert Pattinson.
Oh yeah, he's good. He was good as the Batman.
So what it reminded me of was a kind of a parallel type story with The Road with Viggo Mortensen. Did you ever see that one?
Yeah.
Very similar, but it was so much a homage to Mad Max. So it's super good. The ending, I would love to hear people's comments on the ending because it's pretty like, what the fuck? Okay. So it's The Rover with Guy Pearce, and it's like 2000. Oh man, maybe 14 or something. I'll flash the date up there, but it's pretty damn sweet. It keeps me in the mood.
When I was looking at the Road Warrior Furiosa trailer, the very next thing that YouTube served up was this incredible kind of like compendium of trailers all put together of upcoming sci-fi movies, and pretty exciting stuff in there. You have a new Dune movie coming out.
Well, that's part 2. That's the second. That's the second half. They said this second half of Dune is off the wheels. It's
the trailer.
I mean, did you see who plays the Emperor? Did you see who plays the Emperor?
No, but it was
Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken plays
the
Emperor of the Universe. Now, Jodorowsky's original actor, who was who agreed to be the emperor of the universe was Salvador Dali.
Right. Yeah, they I mean, Dune is a very inspired franchise that's been around for a long time. But I'm watching all these trailers. So there's this like a 40-minute kind of like video you can watch on YouTube called New Movie Trailers 2023 and 2024 4K Ultra HD, and all these sci-fi stuff. You get some period pieces and some fantasy stuff, some dragon stuff. There's a movie coming out high budget called Damsel, which looks like it's very Game of Thrones ish. There's a new spy thriller out called Argyle, which is like kind of like action with James Bond, but this author gets pulled into the story. There's a new Ghostbusters coming out. That's going to be interesting. Saw the new trailer for the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is coming out. That looks like a real big budget CGI movie with the Planet of the Apes franchise. Um, let's see. There's some action movies coming out with Marky Wahlberg. We got the new Marvel. As we speak, the Marvels just opened Friday, which is the day before yesterday, featuring Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau in theaters now. They also have appearances with like Iron Man and the Hulk and everything. Another Marvel movie coming out is Kraven the Hunter. It's going to be a former Spider-Man bad guy who's going to be turned into like an anti-hero. Um, there's a trilogy, or what is it called, a duology, a series coming out, high budget on Netflix, sci-fi called Rebel Moon, and it's good. It seems very Star Wars-ish. Um, you're going to have two different Godzilla movies coming out. One is called Godzilla Minus One, and I think it's a whole reimagining, high budget. And then there's another one which is King Kong versus Godzilla, and they're completely separate movies. So it's Godzilla Kong. There's a new iteration of the Fall Guy coming out with Robin Gosling, a big action adventure stuntman movie. And,
so can I just interrupt?
Another Aquaman.
Okay.
Is coming out.
Is this like a new thing where we're writing down all the trailers?
Series. I didn't love the first one, but it was high budget. My wife loved it. They just like they want to see Aquaman, but the first one, I don't know, it was too schmaltzy for me. They had they had some stars in there, but I think Amber Heard imploded. I think her career imploded. She was like Aqua Woman, Princess, whatever, and then it came out that she was in court with Johnny Depp. So I don't think she's in the next one. But yeah, there's a lot of cool sci-fi coming out. Some of those movies look like they're worth checking out. Definitely just going to be waiting for February for Fury Road, for Furiosa. That's going to be the highlight for me. I'll probably see the Marvels, but I don't have high expectations because I didn't like Captain Marvel at all. I'm just watching it to keep up on what the kids are doing. So yeah, so that's coming up 2024. A lot of stuff. I also wanted to talk to you, Kurt, about Ken Landgraf. So you and I spoke about I think we're both planning on like dipping into our pocket and commissioning him to do some covers or some artwork. I would definitely love to go to his eBay page and take out one of those commissions.
So just to interrupt, just so there's some clarity. Can you hear me, Jake?
Yep.
Yeah. So just in clarity, when this is a I think it's a very contentious kind of thing when it comes to artists. So there's commissioning fan art, and then there's commissioning commercial art. So I'm not going to go through unless Ken instructs me to, because I am going to be publishing the work. So I don't want him to be in a misunderstanding that I wanted a fan art drawing by him of Crom the Barbarian, and then all of a sudden it's a piece of art that's in, a collection of a book, and he's not getting compensated for it. So the real point of direction that I'm making when it comes to commissioning artists, myself and yourself included, is that there is a difference between fan art and commercial art. They're not the same, So I'm definitely going to be very mindful of that. So this could
Yeah, but
also
it
be
looks
something
like
we discuss
it
with
looks like
him when we get him on the on an interview. So
one day finally, yeah. Well, the thing about Ken Landgraf is that he's so prolific that you can go on his eBay page right now and see that he sells commissions, and it looks like he also uses the commissions himself. He exploits them and puts them into these little latest commission sets that he sells. Um, showing off his latest work. So I think it just becomes um, case by case, whatever people are hiring him to do. I'm sure they want to publish it, and I'm sure some people want to publish it, and some people want to just hold on to it and sell it as original art later. So it all depends, but it would just be exciting because he seems like a really accessible artist who's been around, and his style is so good. So I was thinking
yeah,
about you know seeing what he'll do with some of my original characters, right? Like Hellclaw or something like that. It'd be cool. Um, I'm definitely working this up right now. I'm going to be doing the motorcycle here. I could extend the motorcycle up a little bit too. If you're looking at the top here, and I should have some headway on this. Another thing I wanted to mention to you is I, I don't know if I told you about I was listening to this podcast, and there was this great author of these books about kind of like the world of commercial products. And we're in the business here of making comics, and we want people to read them, and we want to like sell a commercial product. But his name is Cory Doctorow, and he wrote a book called Choke Point Capitalism, which explains how all of the industries, including entertainment and media and everything, like every industry is captured by like, you know, 3 to 5 major players, and they just go industry by industry. And his latest book is about the way the tech industry has done this, and how people can. And the second part of his book, kind of like a how-to steps that people can take to try to take back ownership of your privacy and the content that you're posting online, and not signing it away in these onerous agreement statements that we all sign when we get on these different platforms. um, so one thing that I brought up with talking about this to a friend was that he's saying, yes, some people are right on Facebook Live using that platform and those tools to conduct auctions, just like something like, Whatnot or eBay, where people are just live streaming and people are placing a bid in the comment section, that they end up, honoring and fulfilling between the buyer and the seller. And going rogue on some of these platforms to auction things off. And so I want people to check this out on Facebook. If you have a Facebook account, if you're listening to us and you're not that old, or you're not that young, I mean, but there's a page on Facebook called KJK Antiques. And I don't know if you want to put a screenshot up of it, but KJK Antiques, it's this crazy like antique store or thrift store, this big place that's like overrun with stuff, and they have all of these oddities there. And it's really interesting, Kurt, to watch their streams, because they have streams posted online now, like 3 hours long, and they're just walking around selling stuff online and people bidding on it right there, and it makes you wonder why we have these, tools like eBay and Etsy, where people are buying stuff online when you could have an alternative way to showcase it, right? Just send somebody to, you know, your Facebook Live, let's say, or you could do it on Twitter Live or any other live streaming platform, and say, hey, I'm going to be going through this collection of, antique hats or antique, stained glass pieces, and if you want to buy one, put a bid in, and then we'll exchange information, and this company has been doing this for a very long time. So I'm sure there's others like that doing it, but in terms of selling your wares, you're talking about like artist rights, and not getting kind of like nickel and dimed by all the fees and the gatekeepers of content and all kinds of stuff like that. Because this thrift store has a lot of like oddities. I think they specialize in like really weird, memorabilia, and kind of like I think they even have like freak show stuff. You know, I guess that's a bad way of saying it, but really weird odds and ends. I mean, that company has a lot of character, and they do it regularly. So they build up their audience, and they have their own people that they bring into their streams, and they just sell stuff in Facebook comments. I think that's really neat.
Yeah, I have actually run one of those for a client, albeit not as successful as one would hope. And the reason we found was, there just wasn't, for the attention his Facebook page had, or has even, the attention isn't because they're there to buy an auction. They're there to see what the next piece of art is. So you have to be very mindful in building the platform that you're building in order to get and maintain, said community.
Yeah, I mean, if it's on Facebook, you're just, you could have a business page, for your company or your podcast, whatever. And then,
Yeah, but I don't do anything on Facebook. I think Facebook is the worst when it comes to having given them rights to my fill in the blank as they change their agreement a million times, to the point of, I mean, there's just a laundry list of crap that they
yeah,
do, and you can't sit here and tell me that they're not in perpetuity using all of that data. They're just using it. They're crunching numbers to find out where and why and how they can make, more and more things happen. But
they have ways
I think the bigger part of it, if you really wanted to put it down on a site, is you got to have your own website. That I think it's a non-negotiable with me. It's where I'm not only taking myself and my websites, because I own 3 of them: KurtBrugel.com, CromTheBarbarian.com, and the Gardner Francis Fox Library. One of those websites next year is going to get its own paywall, community type area. And when I say paywall, we're not talking a lot of money, monthly wise, but it'll definitely start by having an agreement of why you're accepting to come in here, and the understanding of it, and then what is being offered, for the exchange of your consent to, for me to send a newsletter to you, or there's a whole lot more than just getting a couple of bucks off of somebody once a month in a subscription. I think if you can really cater to who you have collected in your community, you can find that there's a decent living there. I know many people doing it. I know many people doing it. And a lot of them, though, immediately over time start feeling claustrophobic because, if I agree to go to, let's say, Cartoonist Kayfabe, and this is a true story, they're now running ads. I watched an hour-long episode of theirs, and it had 3 20-second video ads and then an additional 5-second at the beginning and end. And it also holds their, hey, we make money, by you buying our books in order for us to keep doing what we're doing. And hands down, that's reality. But I'm not saying personally I'm going to stop watching Cartoons Kayfabe because they're doing ads. I will say I think it's a little going in the wrong direction. I can understand that they want to build their following to over 100,000 so they can get that silver plaque as a sense of accomplishment for themselves. But really, why are they not growing is what they need to be asking. And what can they provide that then creates a scalability and monetization? Now they already do the Patreon, which I think is a phenomenal thing because for $10 you get to hang out with them while they're recording the episodes, and that I think is magic. But they're trying to figure things out, so it's not a harsh criticism. It's just something that needs to be understood and owned as an artist. To just say, yeah, you could jump on Whatnot and make a living. Yeah, but you're also helping Whatnot make a living. And they can at any moment change how the dynamic is, what the dynamic is. If you need a good example of that when it comes to artist websites, just Google artists hate Etsy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just Google
it.
It's
that's the thing. You're talking about a lot of these creators that have like a following, and they might have like a Patreon, or maybe it's just building up to their next Kickstarter or something. But what I'm thinking about is selling some stuff. Like I have a lot of old comics and vinyl. I don't mean old like bad. I mean good. But boxes of stuff that I would love to sell and liquidate and get rid of. And I'm wondering, like, instead of going on Whatnot and paying all their fees, what if I just had, some other platform like Facebook or, something where people could reach you and you're just selling stuff live. Hey, I'll buy that for $5. Put that in the comment. All right, fine. Shipping and
handling. Yeah, but that's Whatnot. Isn't that what Whatnot is? I don't understand. I don't understand why are you so reluctant to not do okay. But why is that the only reason you haven't launched your career on Whatnot?
Well, I've been getting ready to. The only reason I haven't launched on Whatnot is because I still haven't ordered. Like I have to order like mailers, and if you order like you got to order like $250 worth of mailers, to get like a decent amount at a price.
Yeah, and you also mentioned that you have to mail it within 24 hours.
Right. So I can't be doing that stuff during the school year. So I'm more looking at maybe like summer doing that for real. But then I'm talking to my friend, and he's in the auction business, high end auction business, and he's just marveling because there are some people that have been selling like some high grade comics just on their own on these private sales right off their Facebook page, and they just do it on a handshake, and then finalize it later in person or whatever, or finalize it with a check or whatever background you're going to do, between a buyer and a seller nowadays. Like, you find people on Craigslist all the time. You find people on, flyer in the supermarket all the time. People do business with each other, and just nothing great about Facebook, that you can't do on like let's say Twitter or anything else. But this one auction house, it just holds these live streams that last for like hours, and they just go over, the inventory that they want to sell, and they just, put it in front of, people, I guess, that are voyeurs and looking in, and it's obviously worth doing because they've been doing this, and getting bigger and bigger and getting a following and everything. So, I'm playing around with different ideas, but
Yeah.
if maybe if we finish our podcast, and then maybe I'm doing some live drawing on Tumblr, and then I'm like maybe doing some live selling. You could do that right on Tumblr. You could do that right on Facebook, like I said, whatever. So I wanted to bring that up because it's weird, and it's also a way to take back ownership, and meet buyers and sellers without having to pay onerous fees. It's bad enough, the shipping that you have to pay just to get something like a comic. So wanted to mention that. And I don't know how we're doing on time. The other rundown item I have for
You got
next
2 more
time
minutes.
next
45-minute markers in 2 minutes.
So I'm just going to tease next time. I have a note here to talk about the origin of the Duke, but
Oh, yeah.
I actually put that in, and I saw your Duke posters in the
Yeah.
next teaser. I actually put a rundown of a couple of bullet points of these storylines, and the Duke is kind of like a backstory in the Turbo world of a pro wrestler who becomes a pit fighter, and he actually becomes a governor, and he also gets put in jail, and there's an incredible story behind it.
Did you say governor?
Yes,
I think
becomes
that's
a
the first
governor.
time. I think that's the first time I've heard that about him. Is
Yes,
that
and that's
recent? Is that a
it's a very
recent addition?
it's a very cool story. Well, it's kind of bringing together two stories, but making the Duke
Okay.
a guy that and he's going to be a very vivacious character in the lead up.
Like
So if
Jesse the Body Ventura?
exactly right, exactly like that.
He
Yeah.
almost. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yeah, no, I send you the my first Substack installment. I was thinking about putting in like some rough sketches, some character development stuff. I got some definite writing there, for the first installment of how the baby Esoterra got adopted by her parents, which is a little interesting story. But I have bullet points: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullet points, and it's going to be like kind of like these headers or these topics that are going to be in the installments. One of them is the casualties featuring Esoterra and Hellclaw, the arrival of the chronomorph giantesses, the secret chronicles of the Duke, which we just spoke about, Chromita the She-Bot who built herself, descent into cultism featuring the Tuesday movement, the sentience, the slow birth of longevity, and World's Ruin, this ironic saga of Elevena 2222. And so I'm going to maybe put it to readers at the end which one they want to hear about next, whichever, like, they can vote whichever one sounds more intriguing. But I definitely have some new developments on the story of the Duke, and some of it is just in my mind, some of it is on my WordPress, and it's going to be a very interesting story, how the Duke became the Duke.
The Duke.
Yeah, and also thinking about B movie She Devils on the side a little bit, and I've been I'm kind of contemplating what the third B movie is going to be, because the first one's about kind of like women's prison story, and the second one is about biker gangs, male and female biker gangs fighting, and with a little bit of a supernatural twist. And then the third one, I'm just thinking, it's the same actresses all playing different roles, but I was thinking about having like a Fantastic Four story where, but they're all females, but they go up in space and they get powers and they come back. So I don't know if that would be like too unusual to find as a storyline in a B movie, in like a Russ Meyer type of a B movie, right? whereas you might find those other topics,
Wait a second.
uh,
That makes an awesome B movie. I don't understand where that doesn't make an awesome
okay,
B movie.
okay.
Wheels
Yeah,
are
so the
rolling in
question
my
is,
head for that one.
so right, so I want to go back to, I want to go back because I want to go back to, like, the first B movie takes place in like 1962, let's say, and the second one, it takes place in maybe like 1963. So the third one would take place in like 64, and that's just in the years where Marvel comics got started. Fantastic Four #1 was 61, and then by 64 you had Spider-Man and the Hulk and Doctor Strange and all that stuff, right? So
Yeah.
so the next question is, how would this B movie depart from the Fantastic Four? I mean, obviously it would be, I think, all women. We could have, one or more males up there too. Um, but what kind of statements does it make? Does it refer to the Fantastic Four in other ways? What are the powers? And what happens next with those powers? Who are the bad guys? All of those things. I really want to take into consideration, like, a lot of other movies, and especially like Russ Meyer movies and ideas in those movies, and try to patchwork them all together. So just the kind of, like, broad thinking about that. Haven't put any paper to pencil yet on that, but I have some sketches for Death Angels in Bondage, which is going to be the second B movie about the motorcycle gangs, the rival gangs, and there's going to be like lesbianism, in the movie. That's going to be why the motivating factor why the male gang is after the female gang, because they're stealing their wives and girlfriends and women and stuff. So
All right. Well, on that
just
note,
teasing
let's
that. Yeah.
close it. Let's close this episode down. Wow. I think this episode will be the second to the last. No, I think we have, let's see, this will go out next week, which will be, so yeah, we still have like 2 more weeks till the end of 2023. But if I've forgotten to say thank you, community, I will say it again. You guys are really making this enjoyable for Jake and I. Also very informative. I can't thank those who make comments and correct us too, by the way, or give us additional information, like something we might have missed on something. Because, the style of this podcast is one that is basically, I've branded is, I'm at Jake's house, we're hanging out, we're making a comic book together, and we're just talking about everything that goes with being in comics. So with that, we'll let you guys get back to reading comics. Make them if you do. But
Yeah.
Jake, you got anything on the out?
Nah, man. See you guys next time, and look out for our links.